Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, lived a kind and beautiful girl named Amelia. She was 20 years old and had blue eyes that sparkled like the sky and golden hair that shone in the sunlight. Amelia didn't have much money, but she had something more important, a happy heart and a loving family. They lived in a small house and supported one another through every challenge. Amelia loved reading books and often dreamed of a better life, one filled with purpose and love. One sunny morning, Amelia went to the village market to buy some fruit. There she met a boy named Jack. He was tall, had dark hair, and smiled warmly. Jack came from a rich family who owned big houses and many lands. But unlike others, Jack was humble and kind. As they spoke, another person walked up, Jenny, Amelia's best friend. Jenny was smart, full of life, and always supported Amelia like a sister. She was the one who always believed in Amelia's dreams, no matter how big they were. Jenny smiled at Jack and said, "Take good care of my friend. She's one of a kind." From that day on, the three of them, Amelia, Jack, and Jenny, started spending time together. They talked, laughed, and shared dreams while walking by the river or sitting under the trees. Amelia and Jack grew close, and one day, Jack looked into her eyes and said, "Amelia, I love you. Will you marry me?" Amelia's eyes filled with happy tears. She smiled and said, "Yes, Jack, I love you too." They hugged, feeling like the world had opened its arms to them. Jenny stood beside them, cheering, "True love always finds a way." Amelia and Jack were full of joy. They spent more time together, dreaming about their future, walking in the fields, laughing beside the river, and talking about love, hopes, and life. But soon dark clouds appeared over their sunny world. Jack's parents heard about his love for Amelia. They were not happy. They believed Jack should marry someone rich, someone with a powerful family. They thought Amelia, a simple village girl, wasn't good enough. "Jack," his mother said firmly, "you can't marry Amelia. She is not from our world." His father nodded in agreement. "You must choose someone with status and wealth. Think about your future." Jack's heart ached. He loved Amelia deeply and didn't care about money or status. He told his parents, "Amelia is kind, smart, and strong. Money doesn't matter when there is true love." But his parents didn't listen. They warned him, "If you marry her, we will not support you." Amelia heard about this. It broke her heart. She didn't want to create problems for Jack. That evening, she sat quietly with her best friend Jenny under a tree near the river. Tears filled Amelia's eyes. "Jenny," she whispered, "maybe I should let Jack go. I love him, but I don't want to ruin his life." Jenny held her hand gently and said, "Amelia, love is not always easy, but love that sacrifices and cares, that's real. You are brave, and whatever you choose, I'm with you." The next day, Amelia met Jack and said softly, "Maybe it's better if we don't marry. I don't want to make your life hard." Jack looked into her eyes, heartbroken. "Amelia, I can't imagine life without you, but I understand I will always love you." They hugged and both cried. Their love was real, but the world was against them. Though they decided not to marry, they promised to stay friends and support each other no matter what. Jenny stood beside them both, reminding them, sometimes the strongest love is the one that keeps giving, even when it hurts. Days turned into weeks, and the pain in Amelia's heart did not go away. She missed Jack every day. At night, she often cried softly so her family wouldn't hear. She still loved him deeply, but she believed she had made the right choice. Jenny visited her every evening. They sat together on the porch, watching the stars. "Amelia," Jenny said gently, "your love was true, but sometimes even true love is tested by the world. That doesn't mean it was wrong. It just means life isn't always fair." Amelia nodded, wiping her tears. "I just wanted him to be happy, even if it meant without me." Meanwhile, Jack was trying everything he could to change his parents' minds. He spoke to them kindly, begged them to understand, but they refused to listen. Amelia's family saw her sadness. Her mother held her hand one morning and said, "We love you, Amelia. You deserve happiness, but maybe it's time to let Jack go." That day, Amelia made the hardest decision of her life. She walked to Jack's house, took a deep breath, and knocked on the door. When Jack saw her, his heart skipped a beat. "I love you, Jack," Amelia said with tears in her eyes, "but your parents will never accept me. I don't want to make your life harder. It's better if we say goodbye." Jack's face turned pale. "Amelia, I can't live without you, but if this is what you want, I will let you go. I will always love you." They hugged tightly, knowing this might be the last time. Jenny watched from a distance, her eyes full of tears. She knew how deep their love was. Later that night, she comforted Amelia, holding her like a sister. True love is not about keeping someone. It's about wanting the best for them, even if it means letting them go. "You were brave, Amelia, so brave." From that day on, Amelia and Jack lived separate lives, but their hearts still carried the love they shared. And Jenny? She stayed by Amelia's side, helping her heal, cheering her on, and reminding her, even broken hearts can grow stronger. Time passed slowly. Amelia tried to move forward. She helped her family every day, cooking, cleaning, and working in the fields. She smiled for them, but deep inside her heart still ached. Jenny noticed. One afternoon as they sat under the old oak tree, she said, "Amelia, I see your pain, but I also see your strength. You care so much for others. That's what makes you shine." Amelia smiled faintly. "Thank you, Jenny. I just wish things had been different." Far away, Jack was feeling the same. He continued working with his family's business, but his thoughts always returned to Amelia. He missed her kindness, her laughter, and the way she made everything feel possible. Then one day, something happened that changed everything. Amelia's father became very sick. He could not work, and the family had little money for medicine. Amelia stayed by his side day and night, praying and hoping he would get better. Jenny was there every step of the way. She helped Amelia take care of him, cooked meals, and even asked villagers for help. "We're not giving up," Jenny said. "Family sticks together." Jack heard about Amelia's father from a traveler who had passed through the village. Without a second thought, he packed food, medicine, and warm clothes and traveled back. When Amelia opened the door and saw Jack standing there, she gasped. "Jack, what are you doing here?" Jack smiled softly. "I heard your father is ill. I want to help." Amelia's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you. That means more than you know." Jack didn't come just once. He came again and again. He brought hope with him each time. He spoke kindly to Amelia's father, helped carry water, and even fixed the roof of their house. Jenny saw how much he still cared and whispered to Amelia one evening, "Sometimes love returns, not to demand anything but just to give." Amelia nodded. Maybe love never really left. As the days passed, Amelia's father slowly got better. The medicines helped, but so did the care and love from Amelia, Jenny, and even Jack. Amelia felt deeply grateful. One morning, as the sun rose over the hills, she turned to Jack and said, "You've done so much for us. You didn't have to, but you did. Thank you." Jack looked at her gently and replied, "Amelia, I will always be here for you. You have a heart full of love. That's all I ever needed." Amelia smiled, but her heart was still cautious. "We both know your parents won't ever accept me." Jenny, who had just arrived with a basket of bread, heard this. She walked over and said firmly, "Sometimes people will never accept what they don't understand. But that doesn't mean you should stop living your truth. You deserve happiness, Amelia, with or without approval." The three of them sat in the garden, talking about dreams, hopes, and how much things had changed. Even though Amelia and Jack still loved each other deeply, they also knew the truth. The world around them hadn't changed. The same walls still stood between them. So they made a quiet decision to remain close friends, to always be there for each other, even if love could not bloom the way they once dreamed. Jack came to visit often before leaving for work in the city. On his last day before departure, he held Amelia's hand and said, "I will write to you. I'll tell you everything. Please don't forget me." Amelia blinked back tears. "I could never forget you. Just be safe and take care of yourself." Jenny gave Jack a smile and said playfully, "And write neatly this time. I'm reading those letters too." They all laughed. Then Jack hugged Amelia tightly, whispered a goodbye, and left. From then on, the letters began. Days turned into weeks, and the seasons began to change. Amelia missed Jack, but every time a letter arrived, her heart danced with joy. Jack wrote about his new life in the city, his job, the busy streets, the tall buildings, and the new people he met. But in every letter, one thing stayed the same: his love for Amelia. "Dear Amelia," one letter said, "the city is loud and fast, but it's nothing without your smile. I think of you every day." Amelia wrote back, telling him about life in the village. She spoke about her father's recovery, the garden she had started, and how Jenny had taken up painting to cheer her up. She also wrote about how she missed him. Jenny often helped write the letters. She made sure Amelia's feelings were clear and honest. "Tell him you're proud of him," she would say. "He needs to hear that too." Through every word, every page, they kept their connection alive. They laughed in their letters, shared memories, and held on to hope. Jack worked hard in the city. He saved money and learned many new things. People respected him because he was honest and kind. But in the quiet moments, he still thought of Amelia and Jenny, the friend who always believed in their love. Back in the village, Amelia also worked hard. She helped her neighbors, taught young children how to read, and took care of her family. Jenny was always there, cheering her on, reminding her that every little act of kindness mattered. "Even if your heart is hurting," Jenny said one evening, "you can still be someone's light, and you are Amelia. You always have been." Amelia smiled and looked up at the stars. She whispered, "Maybe love really does find a way even from far away." One morning, Amelia was watering the flowers outside her home. The sun was shining, and the birds were singing. Everything felt peaceful. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Amelia opened it, and there he was. "Jack?" she said, surprised. He smiled. "Yes, Amelia, I'm back. I missed you." Amelia couldn't believe her eyes. She felt happy, confused, and excited all at once. Jenny, who was nearby, ran over with wide eyes and laughed. "Jack, you really did come back." They all sat down and talked for a long time. Jack told them about his work, how he had learned many things, and how he had saved money. Amelia told him about life in the village, about her family, and how she had never stopped thinking of him. Then Jack looked at Amelia and said softly, "Amelia, I still love you. I want to be with you." Amelia's heart beat faster. She looked at Jenny, who gave her a small nod and a smile. Then she turned to Jack and said, "I love you too, but what about your parents?" Jack held her hand. "I don't need their approval anymore. I can take care of us. I just want to be with you." Amelia was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Jack, I'm proud of you. You worked hard, but I don't want to bring you pain." Jack smiled. "Amelia, you are my happiness. Being with you is the life I choose." Jenny clapped her hands and said, "Then choose it. You both waited so long. Don't be afraid. Go live your love." Amelia and Jack looked at each other and knew it was time. Amelia and Jack knew the road ahead would not be easy, but they were ready. Their hearts were strong, and their love was real. They decided to get married in a small ceremony. Only close friends and family were invited. The village was filled with joy and music. Amelia wore a simple white dress. Jack held her hand proudly. Jenny stood beside her as her best friend and smiled with happy tears, though something was quietly heavy in her heart. "You made it," Jenny whispered. "You didn't give up." Amelia smiled back. "Thank you, Jenny. You always believed in me. I couldn't have done this without you." But no one knew what Jenny hid inside. She had also come to care deeply for Jack. Over the years, his kindness, his words, and his loyalty touched her heart too. But Jenny stayed silent. She didn't want to ruin her friend's happiness. Amelia's family was full of joy. They loved Jack now because they saw his true heart. But Jack's parents didn't come. They were still angry and refused to accept the marriage. Jack was sad, but he didn't let that stop him. "We can build our own life," he said. "We will be okay." After the wedding, Amelia and Jack moved to the city. Life there was busy, but they worked hard and helped each other every day. Amelia found a job helping children at a school. Jack continued to grow in his business. Jenny often visited them. She brought stories from the village and helped Amelia whenever she needed her. Sometimes, when Amelia wasn't looking, Jenny watched Jack with quiet admiration. "You two are a team," she would say, "and that's what makes love strong." Even with her own feelings, Jenny chose to support their happiness. That was her kind of love, silent, strong, and selfless. They faced many problems, but they always stood together. Their love made them brave. One evening, Amelia said to Jack, "We went through so much, but I'm glad we never gave up." Jack held her close and said, "We're not just in love. We're partners. That's what makes us strong." Years passed. Amelia and Jack built a happy life in the city. They worked hard, saved money, and supported each other every step of the way. Their love grew stronger with time. They had children and raised them with kindness and care. Amelia taught them to be strong, honest, and loving. Jack taught them to be brave and never judge people by money or background. Jenny was still a big part of their lives. She became like family. Jenny stayed in the village for a while. She needed time to heal, to understand her heart, but she never let bitterness in. She helped others, started a small school, and became a guide for young girls with dreams like Amelia once had. The children called her Aunt Jenny, and she told them stories about the village, about love, and about never giving up. One day, as Amelia and Jack sat on their porch watching the sunset, Amelia said, "Do you remember how hard it all was?" Jack smiled. "Yes, but it was all worth it." They held hands, feeling thankful for everything they had. They remembered the pain, the letters, the long nights of waiting. but they also remembered the strength it gave them. Jenny joined them, holding a warm cup of tea. "You both taught me something," she said. "That love is not just about feelings, it's about choice. You chose each other again and again." Amelia nodded. "And we're still choosing each other." They laughed, watched their children play, and felt proud. They had created a life full of love, not because it was easy, but because they never stopped believing. Their journey was not perfect, but it was real, strong, and beautiful. They proved that true love is not about money or approval. It's about standing by each other when it matters most. And in the end, they lived happily ever after, hearts full and dreams fulfilled.